Here's how you keep a conversation going and keep that person really interested no matter what you're talking about or who you're talking to. Well, technically it does matter what you're talking about because that's going to be the point of the video. But whatever topic it is unimportant. What's important is that the topic is something they want to talk about. A good conversationalist is focused more on the people or the person I'm talking to. What do they want to talk about? What is their interest? And usually people are going to reveal their interests by whatever they bring up or comment on. Or if there's a different topic being discussed, how they respond to it. If they're asking questions, making comments, and then also not just the volume of their response, but the enthusiasm, right? The eye contact, the vocal tonalities, right? So you're talking about something and they're like, yeah, well, cool, whatever, yo, that's crazy, disinterested, turned away, eye contact, body language, kind of like, yeah, bored, vocal tonalities. Now, some people can be more polite and be like, oh, okay, that's cool, yeah. And they can kind of keep this even keel response, but they're not enthusiastic. But when people are enthusiastic, it's much more evident, right? Certain personalities are kind of hard to read. They're a little bit just more placid in general. But even then, you can find people get giddy about a conversation. Now, if they're not excited about anything you're talking about, they don't want to talk to you, right? So it doesn't matter what the fuck you're talking about. They're not going to enjoy talking about that with you. And that's a symptom of, something probably deeper. Either before that point, you haven't gained their interest, whether it's romantic, you're talking to a girl, or if you're a girl talking to a guy, or, just talking to a platonic friend. You just don't hold their interest and they just don't have any desire to talk with you. And that's fine, right? But we're talking about someone who is actively engaging with you, but you want to be a better conversationalist. Focus on what they like talking about. Pay attention to the signs that they enjoy talking about it. And so you either look at the vocal tonality, the eye contact, the body language, or just the fact that they keep wanting to discuss it. And the way that you can probe deeper is you stay on that topic. So if they're talking about some show, right, and you're not familiar with it, seem interested in it. Oh, if you've heard about it, say that. If you haven't, be like, I've never heard of it. What's it about? Oh, well, it's about this. Da, 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 da. Oh, how many seasons does it have? Is it like a horror show? Is it, a fantasy show? Blah, blah, blah. What do you like so much about it? And then, pull it up on your phone. Be like, okay, wait, let me check this out. And make a comment on it or pull up a trailer, right? Show interest, genuine interest, right? If I'm telling someone about a show and they're like, oh, cool, let me look it up, I'm going to feel like, wow, this person's actually giving a shit, right? You're taking actions to demonstrate your interest, right? It's not just this fake, hollow, like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm entertaining you. Like, seem genuinely interested. And here's the thing. There's going to be stuff that people are talking about that you don't really give a shit about, but you care about them, right? You care about your friendship with them, or, you care about flirting with them, right? That's sufficient reason enough to care about what they're talking about. And it makes people feel good. Now, there is one downside to this if you're a really good conversationalist, but you'll figure out how to get around it. When you care so much about other people and entertaining them and being the good conversationalist, you're going to sometimes not be talking about things that you want to talk about. And that's sort of the cross you have to bear. And I'm just going to keep it real with you. If you want to be the guy or the girl that is, the crux of every conversation, the foundation of every conversation, of every group hangout, where you're the kind of person who isn't going to be doing what everyone else does, which is sitting there waiting for their chance to talk, is going to, try to get the spotlight or get validation or anything like that. You are there as a beacon of a connection. Like, you can connect the group because of your ability to hold on topic, come back to the topic, not like let things kind of get out of hand and everyone's just like having their own conversation. Like, you know how to steer things in a direction where, okay, let's talk about what this person's talking about, wants to talk about. Let's talk about what this person wants to talk about. And you can create this social cohesion. Now, the sacrifice that you have to make, it's sort of like the sacrifice of a leader, is you get to have the leader position, but you pretty much are in service to everyone. And that's just the trade-off you have to make, right? If you want to be the social person, a lot of times you're not going to be discussing what you want to talk about. Now, when you get very skilled at conversation, you will find ways to make people interested in what you're interested about or tie things in, right? Like, someone's talking about a show they like, and you'd be like, oh, well, have you ever heard of this show? I think you would like it. It's a show that maybe is similar because you've actually listened to what they've talked about, but it's something you like. And then you can see if they're interested. Now, there will be times, and this is annoying, where you're doing so much effort to like talk about what these people want to talk about, and then you'll introduce something that you want to talk about, and they'll just like, they don't give a fuck. Like, they couldn't fucking care less. Like, they only want to talk about what they want to talk about. Now, here's what's cool about that, is you know that this person sucks, right? It's a very good, it's like I dropped my hairband. It's a very good way to tell who's a selfish little prick and who's not worth, the reason they'll do it is either there's some downsides to talking about what people want to talk about. Sometimes people can see it as a way of like, oh, they're kissing my ass, they're giving me all this attention, da-da-da-da-da. Again, however, if someone is so oblivious, either socially oblivious to not realize that they should be reciprocating this interest in the other person, or they see it as this subtle kind of like, oh, okay, I'm the center of attention, I can do whatever I want. Like, not necessarily just an obliviousness, but an actual arrogance. If you see any of those behaviors, great. You know who sucks. And when you know who sucks, you can plan for that in future, because not everyone in every social group you're going to enjoy, right? You're not going to like everyone. But you can kind of jot it down in a notebook. Like, they're just not an enjoyable person to be around. Or if you're out trying to make friends, then you just be like, okay, this is not a person I really want to be friends with, right? They're kind of selfish. And you may think that something as small as that shouldn't be an indicator. You shouldn't judge people on it. You definitely should. You definitely should. I can promise you, almost anyone who talks like that, who is a selfish conversationalist, is someone that you probably shouldn't be friends with, because how you do some things generally shows how you do everything. Not always the case, right? But generally, seeing how someone handles small situations is a great example of how they'll handle anything. So if they're the kind of person who's a selfish conversationalist, or an arrogant conversationalist, that will really tell you a lot about them. And you should be judging people pretty quickly. I would say, for the most part, my first impressions with most people have been pretty spot on. Now, everyone has flaws, right? And not every flaw is irredeemable or, makes them unqualified to be a friend. But, as you get more experience with meeting people, you will become more sort of like how you get experience with dating people. Like, your standards are going to go up with time, because you're going to realize what is unacceptable and what is really unproductive towards a good relationship. The same way for social relationships. These small things of, okay, here I am putting all this effort to, make people entertain or focus on what they want to talk about, and they just can't fucking stop. Like my wife, for instance, she has a friend who literally every time she calls will just go off for like 3 hours, and just my wife never gets a chance to talk. And I'm like, I don't know why you're friends with this person. And even at some point, my wife's like, yeah, I think I'm too nice. Like, I mean, she can be strong at times, but like this one particular friend is just doesn't fucking stop talking. And what's worse is she just complains about she has a wealthy husband, but there's problems but they're always on vacation. And she literally just called my wife to complain that they're in some small town in fucking Italy or something, and they only have a few luxury shops. They don't have Prada. They don't have Gucci. Literally fucking complaining about this. I mean, mind-numbing levels of stupidity, right? And I don't know why she's friends with her. Honestly, I don't see the benefit. But you know, whatever. I'm a bit more hardcore about people that I'm pretty much willing to cut most people off on the flip of a dime if I have seen enough, right? I can be very forgiving, but in some ways unforgiving, right? But you know, that's my approach to things, and it's been honed over a long period of time, and we don't need to go into too much detail, but this small sacrifice you're going to be making can inform you about the people you're interacting with, but also the main point of this video is it will make you an attractive conversationalist. It will make you, people will like being around you because everyone else is not like that. Everyone else is the person who just wants to talk about what they want to talk about. And they're just god fucking awful at conversating. Like, the average person is dog shit at conversating. Like, I will refrain from continuing the abusive language, but hopefully it is getting the point across. Like, talking to most people is pretty mind-numbing. Not because they're unintelligent, and not because they don't maybe have something interesting. The sad thing about most people is that they may have a lot of intelligence or interesting things in their life. They have no idea how to show it. This is the flaw of men in dating, women in dating, and men and women in social friendships, relationships. They are just awful at marketing themselves because they haven't taken the time to realize what other people like. And it is unfortunate, but that's what's going to make you different. It's quite easy. A simple tip like this, just literally like for the next couple months, say, okay, whenever someone is talking about something they want to talk about, I'm going to focus on that and dig deeper into that. And when we're talking about something that they're obviously not interested about, I will keep it short and move topics. That's it, right? Dive deeper into good topics, cut bad topics. If you just follow that one simple tip, but you have to have the attention span to keep, you know, vigilance, keep watch on if they're enjoying the conversation or not. But if you can manage to do it, I guarantee people will really enjoy being around you more. There's a whole host of more details, right? How to keep yourself from looking like a kiss ass so you don't end up in those situations where people are, you know, thinking that you're just like overly interested in them. But, you know, that's another angle. This is good enough to definitely make people want to talk to you more. So yeah, anyways, hope you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, ring the bell, whatever. I will talk to you soon. Ciao. Bye. How do I stop this video? Okay, here we go.